President Trump is weighing in on New Jersey's governor's race. He just endorsed former state assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli. That happened yesterday. And then President Trump said Ciattarelli is a terrific American, first candidate running to be the next governor of a state that I love. Ciattarelli is one of 5 Republicans in the primary. Incumbent Democrat Phil Murphy is term limited. So there's a big race. Radio host Bill Spadea is also running as a Republican. He shaded Trump's endorsement of his rival by writing this. Remember, in the last year, not 1 but 2 New Jersey candidates failed to capitalize on an endorsement from President Trump and lost big. Given Jack's history as a repeat loser, I believe it will be 3 losses in a row. Let the countdown begin. 29 days until Jack Ciattarelli last says the words President Trump in his 2025 campaign. End of quote. Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli is in focus right now. Great to have you on the program. So, first of all, can you respond to those words from Bill Spadea?
He can't help himself, Harris. So we're going to continue to work hard over the last 4 weeks of the campaign. We're going to win the primary. I'm honored to have the president's endorsement. He spends a great deal of time in New Jersey, but I support his agenda in terms of keeping the American soil safe, securing the border, making us more prosperous, energy independence, all those things I support. And he supports what it is I'm trying to do in New Jersey.
Yeah, talk to me about what exactly do you think gets, and I know he has a home in Bedminster, New Jersey, the president and first lady, Melania Trump. But talk to me about specifically what the president is watching for, and if you've talked with him at all.
Yes, I've spoken with him a number of times, and he likes very much what my plan is to lower taxes in New Jersey, make New Jersey safer. We will not have sanctuary cities when I'm governor. We will not be a sanctuary state, and my attorney general will not be suing the White House over any of his executive orders. We're on the same page with regard to energy. I thanked him very, very much for stopping the wind farms off our Jersey shore. They're bad economics, bad energy, and bad environmental policy. I've thanked him for beating up on the New York Democrats over the congestion pricing plan, and he's with me 100% as we look to expand our nuclear capabilities in New Jersey to bring the cost of energy down.
Well, look, when it comes to his popularity, President Trump has made gains among New Jersey voters over the last 8 years. So that's interesting. In 2016, nearly 63 million people voted for him. In 2024, more than 77,000 did. That's a jump of 3.7%. He also won the popular vote over Vice President Kamala Harris. And you did well in that state as a Republican.
Harris, the president's endorsing me because he knows I offer the best chance for us to win in November. And mark my words, we are going to win. We came very, very close back at 21. It was kind of the spark that lit the fuse. He did very, very well here in 2024. He knows New Jersey's in play. There's only 2 governor races in the country this year. Again, I'm honored to have his endorsement. But we won't take anything for granted over these last 4 weeks of the primary, and then it's on to the general. But no matter who the Democratic nominee is, we're going to hold them accountable for 8 years of failed Phil Murphy's policies. They've all been complicit in his policy failures.
You know, I want to lean in on one thing that you said, because it is the issue, one of the issues of the moment. With inflation ticking down, people are going back now, facing the fact that in the state of New Jersey, the mayor of Newark has time to do other things besides dealing with what's going on in his state. And in our state, I live there too, the Newark International Airport, certain things going on there. But this detention situation, this ICE detention, I just want to get your idea about how do you clean up a sanctuary city?
Well, we stop with sanctuary city status. I mean, I've got 3 Democratic hopefuls in this race on the Democratic side of the aisle that are all mayors that believe in sanctuary cities. When I'm governor, no city will be allowed to be a sanctuary city. We will not be a sanctuary state. And any mayor and police chief that wants to work in partnership to keep the community safe, we're going to allow that to happen. And shame on that Democrat for showing up at a nice detention center. These are people here illegally who've committed crimes. What don't we get? I mean, these are the kind of people that we want to imprison to make sure our communities are safe.
Jack Ciattarelli, endorsed by President Trump to run for New Jersey governor. Thank you for being with me.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.